Hello team, welcome to my session on Coffee with Prabh, and today we're going to discuss about some interview questions which is frequently asked in a CISO interview jobs. I already made couple of videos in past on CISO, so you can check my previous videos, and if you're new to my channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss my future videos on a related topics. My name is Prabh Nair. For more information, you can refer my LinkedIn profile. So without wasting a time, let's start with the first part.
Hello everyone, my name is Prabh Nair and I'm working as a Chief Instructor at infosec training.
Okay, so first question, what do you consider to be a key attribute of a CISO? Okay, so by this question, the interviewer want to know your attributes regarding a CISO, how do you think yourself in the futures and all that, okay? So how to answer this question? See, normally what happens when you're talking about the attributes of CISO, so you can say like that key attribute of a CISO, a good CISO are the strong leadership quality. That's the most important thing, which I have. And here you can give an example, but make sure it should not be too long. Okay, you can give the example how, you have shown your leadership skill in your CISO activities. Adaptability, which is the most important thing. Okay, the interviewer want to know, because when you work for the different projects, when you work for the different organization, you have to adapt according to that environment. A good CISO is the one who's flexible enough to adapt to the specific environment. So you can say, okay, I'm very adaptable to according to the culture. Okay, I'm good in program planning skills. That's another important thing. And I have a thorough knowledge of the security. Okay, so like example, like if interviewer asked me what is a good attribute, so I said require the good leadership skills, and I did some kind of an activity in my past company where this kind of a thing happened, and that where I shown my leadership skill, where I uplift some of the employees to drive those activities. We get it done some activities in a weekends, and there was a critical incident, and this is how we have handled that. Okay, I am a kind of a CISO who basically adapt according to the requirement, adapt according to the program management, adapt according to the organization cultures, because I know very well not every company will work in a similar format. So this is how you can present your facts. And CISO also should possess the strong communication skills and focus on a self-improvement. So that is another important factor we need to consider, because as a good CISO, you need to translate the non-technical terms to the non-technical people. Okay, you need to explain in such a manner they can able to understand. That shows the CISO quality. Okay, so this is how you can able to answer the first question. Let's move to the next question. Okay, so second question, how would you explain security to the non-technical or board member? It is one of the frequent question asked in the interview. It is basically asked to the information security manager job profile, and it is asked in a CISO jobs. Okay, and here they want to know your communication skills. They want to know your thought process, how you basically explain the things to them. So how I handle this particular question, because one of the project where I was working as a virtual CISO, they have asked me the similar question. So see, I was a pen tester, I was an auditor. Okay, I was a great security geek, technical guy, you can say like that. So I know how to secure, or I know how to pen test, but an interviewer can check how well you understand the relevant technologies. Okay, so that is the most important thing. So there is a catch here. So if you're starting out in the IT world, you are probably not aware of the importance of IT department in the organization. Okay, and my suggestion is that avoid using a pro technologies, avoid using a pro terminologies. Okay, and stay as practical as possible. Let's take example is you want to convince the management on the security breach. So if you're going to explain them, this is a virus, this is how it's going to happen, and this is how the disclosure of a data, they will not going to understand. So we need to map with the business objectives. We need to explain them. We need to take a frequent backups, because in a past, there's a lot of ransomware threat happens, ransomware attack happen, which is basically disrupt your data. And because of that, we might lose some value. We'll lose some money. So this kind of a statement, this kind of a parameter, you should able to explain. So moral of the story is that avoid using a pro terminologies. Okay, understand their language, understand the audience, and according to that, you need to guide the things. And quality of the communication is very important over the quantity. Okay, so that's the most important thing. So whatever the statement you're giving, it should be mapped with the business objectives. Okay, like example, we have a new regulations. If you fail to comply with that regulation, there is a business loss. Okay, if you fail to comply with that regulation, there is an information security loss. Now there is a difference. People will not give importance to the information security, they give importance to the business objective. Okay, so that is how you need to translate. Let's move to the next interview question. Okay, so next interview question is, what skill are the most important for a CISO to have? It means if you want to be a good CISO, what is the important skill you must be in a CISO? So if we go by this question, okay, here they want to know your skills, they want to know your attributes and all that. So how you handle that? So as I say, okay, they asked me this question. What do you think? What do you consider the CISO to have an important thing? So I told them good planning and project management skills, because in the information security, we deal with multiple projects. Let's take an example. We have a IDM, we have a cloud security controls. And one of the common expectation, the stakeholder has is they need to be delivered on time. So a good CISO is the one who good in handling the projects. Okay, they should deliver the things in a schedule. That is the one thing. A good relationship build with the peers. Okay, not a ego lift. Third, good in managing the incident management governance, because that is another important thing, just to make sure we should reduce the impact. Good in building up policies, policy development, and last but not the least, communication skills. So planning and project management, relationship building, incident management governance, policy development and management, communication skills. This is the important thing which is basically required by every CISO. So this is how you need to convey. Okay, so as I said, I am a CISO. So they have asked me this question. So I said, okay, a good CISO should have a good planning and project management skills, where you give the example of IDM and cloud security controls. A good CISO is the one who basically build the relationship with the peers, maintain a good relation, because sometimes we need a buy-in approvals. Okay, he must be good in managing incidents and all that, reduce the impact. Maximum his goal is to reduce the impact. Good in building a policies, crafting a policies, act like a subject matter expert, and explain the things in a more layman term. Okay, so let's move to the next interview question. Okay, so sometime what happened, they really want to test your experience. So this is a question they have asked me in one of the jobs. So they asked me, can you give me an example of a security problem and let me know how you basically solve that? So this is basically where they test the candidate innovation, problem solving ability, management skills. Okay, so I can give an example. Okay, so there was a one project, okay, and they already have some technology in place. Okay, there's a lot of technology, they have bought multiple technology. So I told them that, okay, there's no point of buying a new technology, let's optimize the existing technology. Okay, they have a limited budget, and with the limited budget they want to manage a solution. So I told them, okay, this is how I handle the situation, where I first identify the current state, I identify the business requirement, and identify, okay, this is the relevant technology which is required to support the business objective, and according to that I have used those resources only, and by which I collect the data, I define the metrics. Okay, and this is how with the limited budget I was able to run the solution. Okay, they give me another problem statement is sometimes happens, the business stakeholders are not agreed on the budget, so how you drive the things. So I will tell them, it's okay, we don't want a solution, okay, to protect all the assets. So I will identify which assets are important for an organization. Okay, list down the asset which is more mapped with the vision and mission. Okay, not necessary all the 100 businesses map with the vision and mission. Out of 110 we identify the asset which support the business applications. So this is how I prioritize, and according to that I build the budget which able to cut off up to $50,000 to $20,000. So this is how I give them a suggestions, this is how I give them a example. So you can take any kind of a reference, okay, and according to that you can basically drive the things. Another case study I gave them, okay, one day what happened, the pen tester is conducting an assessment and he discovered some sensitive data left unattended in the system, and he reported me the issue. Okay, and it is a critical server. Okay, and the concern was there, the server is already meet his end of life. Okay, so there is a vulnerability is also there in the application, so there's no support from the vendor. So how I handle is I update the signature in the DLP, I update the signature in the firewall, and this is how we have blocked those attacks instead of shutting down the server. So this kind of options, when I basically present it, the client got impressed and they're giving me this project. So sometime in the CISO jobs, they basically ask you the problems, they ask you your justifications, they ask you your experience, and according to that you need to answer. Okay, it's a normal question which is asked in any interview jobs. Okay, let's move to the next question. Again, one of the frequent question which is basically asked in the jobs, what is the top priorities of every CISO when they join an organization? Or in other way, they can say, okay, if you join our organization, what is your priority? See, I have to follow the top-down approach. Okay, by asking this question, they want to test my time box skills, my project management skills, and my vision. Okay, how good I am in building a vision. So what I respond on my job is, I told them first I'm going to check the current security program, and if they don't have, I'm going to develop the new by doing a gap assessment. Okay, so developing a security program is basically one of the most important thing you have to do. Okay, while this is an obvious responsibility, but it is also one of the most important. And their number one job is to keep their company information secure. And while compliance audits, training employees are important. So everything a CISO does relate to the data security and avoiding data breach and all that. And everything is coming from the program. So CISO protect the company against the data breach, financial reputations is basically by introducing a activities and program that is part of a development of the security program. Second important thing is identify, report and control incidents. Unfortunately, it is fairly common for the data breaches to be happen. Okay, so my second most important thing is to see what is the current incident management process we have and how can I improve so that I can able to reduce the incidents. Okay, for that I'm also going to build the matrix. So in my previous interview I gave them example, like, I have identified the current incident ratio. Okay, so I collected the current incident ratio is 7 incidents a day, and I reduce that to the 5 incidents in a day. So this is how I reduce. So this is a matrix by which I can show my governance. Is it clear? So that is another important thing. Third is basically manage and train the security staff. So here I want to drive the security awareness program for the employees, and also I need to upskill my security staff also, because I need to identify the current skill and I will see what is the desired skills, and according to that I will drive the things. Okay, next is basically called as a monitor the threats and take the preventative steps. As I said, as a CISO, my another priority is basically improving my detection systems, because we have to spend more on the detective than preventative. Is it clear? And cybersecurity threats come from a many places, and it is impossible to track all of them. So I'm going to prioritize the assets, and based on that I'm going to prioritize the threats, and according to that I'm going to monitor. So this kind of a statement, it gives some kind of a confidence. Understood? So this kind of a network helps the CISO to keep their company data safe and ensure they are training their staffs on a likely threats. And last is basically all about communicate with their colleagues. In addition to training their security staff, CISO need to be communicate continuously with the employees so everyone understand their roles in the cybersecurity efforts. Because with a single click on the malicious link or response to the wrong email, one person can open up the company, the entire network to virus. So this is how I need to explain them in a more layman term. So helping all the employees understand the method the cyber criminal use in a crucial step in keeping the business secure. So develop the program based on identifying the current state, identify the reports and control the incidents, manage and train the security staff, monitor the threats and take preventative steps. And along with that, we need to communicate with the colleagues. So this is how, we can basically define the priorities and all that. Let's move to the next interview question. Thank you. As a CISO of a multinational company, what are the most important obstacles or issues you confront with the multinational organization process? This is the question asked in my job. So I thought I will add that in my slide. So I was giving an interview for one of the projects where they have a presence in US and they have a sub branches in multiple countries. And they asked me as a CISO, how you basically handle this, what is the challenge with the multinational and all that? So I told them two things. One is basically called as a culture. Most important thing is a culture. Now in India, we have a different way to take the cybersecurity. And in US, we have a different way to take a cybersecurity. That is a biggest challenge, a culture of acceptance. Second is basically comply with their local regulatory requirement. Because might be in US, we have a different way to protect the data. In India, we have a different way to protect the data. So as a CISO, the two major obstacles we have is culture and requirement to comply. So after telling this statement, they asked me how to overcome this, because I'm sure they also have the same issue and most of the companies face this issue. So I told them first I will do the self-assessment, identify the gaps, how many are not aware about the activities and all that, build the learning culture, build the security culture by the awareness training and all that. And when it comes to compliance part, I will build one framework in which I will capture all the controls which is required from a global perspective. Like example, if I'm working in India, Middle East or US and UK and all that, I will capture all the regulatory requirement in one Excel sheet. I will document the list of controls associated with the regulations and identify the duplications and avoid those duplication, and by which I can able to comply with all the major regulations. So I can build my internal framework. So one of the customer was very impressed with this kind of an activity when I told them. So this is how you need to convince the interviewer. Okay. This is how I handle this issue. So let's move to the next interview question. Okay. What are the most essential measure a CISO can take to safeguard their firm against the cyber attack? Okay. What are the most essential measure a CISO can take to safeguard the firm against the cyber attack? So how you handle this? See, what I told them, okay, first I need to understand the need for security, because every industry has a different need. If you're working in the e-commerce, their first priority is availability. And if you're working in the finance, you have a priority of integrity. So we need to prioritize what is the first goal. Second is establishing the proper security governance practice based on a gap assessment. Okay, then evaluating a IT threat landscape by understanding a business requirements. Okay, then building a policy to define the culture, speak to the business owner and define the risk appetite of an organization, build the data governance policies. And once you have a control in place, you can basically validate the controls based on some benchmark, like we are using CIS and all that. If I'm basically involving with third party vendors, monitor the vendors. Okay, promote more cyber awareness because human is the weakest link. Okay, protect the organization against the major attacks. So this is how we can able to safeguard the company. Okay, so this kind of an activity you can have. Next question. Next question is, how would you protect your organization with a limited security budget? Frequent question. What would be your approach? Okay, so first understand the goal of the organizations. Okay, as I said, focus which area they want to focus. They want to focus confidentiality, integrity, availability. According to that, we need to define the controls, right? Which is a common mistake done by CISO. Understand the current state of organization. I don't want in one go invest entire budget. First, let me know what is the need of the security. Might be they already have some controls in place. Verify and validate whether your current educate security risk requirement met or not. Okay, by seeing the audit reports, what is the current status of risk. Along with that, we review the inventories of OEM solutions, map with the current security capability. Might be we have onboard the random OEM which is not required as per the function, so we limit the vendors. Integrate the security process and risk management as a holistic process. And more important is, wherever you get an opportunity, build more and more automation. Let me give you an example of build and more automation. So we have a 5000 system. Okay, so instead of running a different configuration, we created a golden image, and we created 3 golden image and that deployed in all the 5000 systems. Every day in the morning, there will be a one Python or Perl script is running in the organization which scan the system, and if they identify any kind of a deviation, they will notify me. So this is how by the automation I able to improve the security. I don't need to have a one human there to monitor that. So build more and more automations. Okay, instead of using a multiple device generating a multiple traffic which creating a quality over the quantity, better go with a limited device. Okay, which give the better visibility. So this kind of an activity we can go for it. Okay, so next is how to stay prepared for an IT security emergency. It is here they want to know from BCP point of view how you handle the crisis. Okay, so my answer is identify your critical business assets and system to make sure these assets are protected. Second is monitor the relevant cybersecurity news to understand this kind of an attack. Test the DRP plan. Okay, that's the most important thing. Test the stability of a system, how resilient they have. On a regular basis, collect the BCP BIA reports, collect the business reports, collect the BCP data. Okay, and try to validate and verify the information. Do some sampling of backups. Make sure they restore the backup in a defined SLAs and all that. So this is how you can able to prepare your organization from the IT security emergency. Okay, so let's move to the next interview question. So what is the best way conduct best approach when conducting an IT risk awareness campaign in the organization. It means you want to give an awareness about security and risk. So what is the best way? So I give the responses, it is convey as per the audience. That's the most important thing. You cannot have a same message for everyone. You can basically custom the message as per the audience, and this is how you can basically convey the details according to the business requirement, because group have a different level of responsibility and expertise, and each group should receive the same message will not make sense. So we have to tailor it as per the role, and according to that you need to convey the information. So this is all from my side, team. If you find this video useful, do share in your network, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss my future videos on a same topic. And do let me know in comment box, like, do you wish to have more videos like that, and how do you find my video useful? Okay, thank you so much. Goodbye.